Welcome. Before you drift off to sleep tonight, please take a gentle moment to subscribe to the channel. Tonight, we are journeying back to mid-century America. The golden summer of the 1950s to spend a quiet evening with a perfumer and soap maker in a midsummer twilight, with the distant sound of bells shimmering in the balmy air. So settle in, pull your blankets close, and let us begin. Imagine, if you will, a modest, lovingly kept cottage at the edge of a small American town. The sun sits low, painting the world in honeyed gold and blush pink. Outside, the garden is lush, with hollyhocks and lavender bowing in the breeze. Windows are flung wide, and linen curtains flutter softly. The distant bells from the white-steepled church in town ring a slow, comforting melody, mingling with the chorus of crickets. Within these walls, fragrance and tranquility are lovingly crafted with gentle, capable hands. The perfumer's cottage is a haven of quiet industry and gentle grace. As you step through the front door, you are greeted by the soft gleam of polished wooden floors, their surface flecked with sunlight filtering through dappled leaves. The air inside is blessedly cool, scented with a trace of lilac and the faintest hint of beeswax. Along the walls, shelves are lined with glass bottles, amber and green, some stoppered, some crowned with cork. Each holds a memory: rose petals gathered at dawn, crushed citrus rind, sprigs of rosemary from the garden. The perfumer, a woman in her quiet strength, wears a linen apron, its pockets bulging gently with dried herbs, and a small, leather-bound notebook. Her hands are graceful, tinged with the scent of lavender and lye, ever busy, ever gentle. She pauses at her work-to-be sturdy, time-worn plank of oak, scattered with tools of her trade. Mortar and pestle rest atop a folded cloth, beside a brass scale glinting in the fading light. Petals, seeds, and shavings are arranged in neat little bowls, each with its own soft color: pale pink rose, pearly chamomile, bright calendula. The perfumer moves with unhurried purpose, each gesture imbued with care. She gently grinds dried violet petals, their fragrance blooming sweet and powdery in the cool stillness. At her elbow, a small radio hums a mellow tune, its notes drifting through the cottage like a lullaby. Outside, the garden is alive with fireflies, their lanterns glimmering above the rows of fragrant herbs. A soft breeze carries in the scent of midsummer, grassy and warm, tinged with the promise of rain. The perfumer closes her eyes for a quiet moment, letting the mingled aromas of nature and her kitchen settle around her. She inhales deeply, feeling the familiar comfort of her home, the linen apron sturdy weave against her skin, the smooth, cool rim of a porcelain mixing bowl in her hands. With gentle focus, she begins to prepare a fresh batch of lavender soap. She measures out the olive oil, its surface gleaming gold in the waning light, and pours it with a steady hand. The scent of soap, clean, creamy, hopeful, rises softly, its warmth mingling with the coolness of the approaching night. On the windowsill, a cluster of wildflowers nods in a glass jar, their colors a tapestry of summer's joy. The perfumer pauses to brush a stray petal from the table, her fingertips lingering on the smooth wood. She reflects, as she often does, on the quiet beauty of repetition, the steady rhythm of work that soothes the soul. Every bar of soap, every vial of perfume, is a small act of creation, a quiet offering to the world's daily rituals. She smiles, thinking of her neighbors and friends, each with their favorite scent: gardenia for Mrs. Parker, sweet orange for little Elsie, rosewater for her own bedside table. Each fragrance is like a letter written in flowers, a gentle connection in a world that sometimes rushes too quickly by. Twilight deepens, casting long shadows across the kitchen floor. The distant bells chime the hour, their sound slow and sonorous, carried tenderly on the evening air. The perfumer wipes her hands on her apron and turns to the open window. She leans on the sill, feeling the roughness of sun-bleached wood beneath her palms, and gazes out across her garden. Rows of lavender sway, the spires of purple alive with bees finishing their day's dance. Beyond the garden, the gentle slopes of the meadow are painted in silver and blue, moonlight beginning to tiptoe across the grasses. She sighs contentedly, listening to the natural music, bells, crickets, the whisper of wind through tall sunflowers. Returning to her work table, she selects a bar of freshly cured soap, its surface marbled with delicate swirls of violet and cream. She presses it to her cheek for a moment, savoring the familiar comfort, then wraps it carefully in waxed paper. The touch of the paper, smooth, faintly crinkling, grounds her in the present. She ties it with a length of soft twine, the knot deft and practiced. Each package is a small promise of care, destined for a neighbor's doorstep or a friend's outstretched hand. These small rituals, the folding, the tying, the careful stacking on the shelf, are her way of weaving warmth into the world, one gentle gesture at a time. Through the open doorway, the perfumer's cat curls on a sun-warmed patch of braided rug. Its fur is the color of honey and cream, its breathing slow and peaceful. She stoops to stroke its head, feeling the silkiness beneath her fingertips. The cat purrs, a low, steady thrum of contentment, and stretches languorously. Its presence is quiet reassurance, a reminder of the simple companionship that fills her days. She whispers a gentle greeting, her voice as soft as the twilight. The cat blinks, gold eyes slow with sleep, before settling more deeply into its nest. In this home, every creature is cherished, every comfort attended to. The perfumer lights a beeswax candle on the mantel, its flame a small, steady glow against the gathering dusk. The air fills with the candle's sweet, mellow aroma, warm honey, faint smoke, the memory of summer fields. She watches the play of light and shadow on the walls, the way the flame seems to breathe in time with her own heartbeat. On the table, the candle's reflection dances across glass jars and polished spoons, gilding the ordinary with a touch of magic. The kitchen is hushed, save for the steady ticking of the clock and the distant, comforting sound of bells marking the passage of time. As the first hour draws to a gentle close, the perfumer settles onto her favorite wooden chair by the window. The chair's seat is softly padded with a patchwork cushion, its fabric faded but beloved. She tucks her feet beneath her, wrapping herself in a light knit shawl. The evening air caresses her cheek, a breath of coolness tinged with the promise of rest. She allows herself a quiet moment of reflection, watching as fireflies drift above the garden, their light slow and golden. The world feels safe, suspended in the hush of twilight. The perfumer's thoughts soften, her breathing slows, and the gentle rhythm of the bells drifts her towards the edge of sleep. A gentle rain begins to fall, its patter soft against the slate roof. The perfumer listens, eyes half closed, to the comforting music of water on stone. Each drop is a note in a lullaby, weaving through the evening hush. She reaches for her teacup, a delicate porcelain vessel, patterned with tiny blue forget-me-nots. The cup's warmth seeps into her palms, and the scent of chamomile rises, sweet and floral. She sips slowly, savoring the quiet ritual. The rain, the bells, the gentle warmth of tea, each element is a thread in the tapestry of her peaceful life. The world outside is wrapped in silver mist, while within, all is gentle and safe. The perfumer's thoughts wander to her shelves of essential oils, each bottle labeled in her careful, looping script. She recalls the countless hours spent blending, sniffing, and refining, seeking the perfect harmony between top notes and base, the secret chord that unlocks a memory or mood. She unscrews a tiny bottle of neroli, dabbing a drop onto her wrist. The scent bursts forth, bitter orange and honey, a whisper of distant orchards. She closes her eyes, letting the fragrance transport her, sun-warmed groves, laughter in the air, the soft rustle of cotton dresses. Here, in her kitchen, she carries the world within a single scent. The rain grows steadier, soothing and rhythmic. The perfumer rises to check the window latches, fingers brushing the cool, painted wood. She pauses to admire the view, drops tracing silver rivulets down the glass, the garden painted in deep green and pearl. In the dimness, the colors seem even richer. The lavender's violet more velvety, the hollyhock's deeper crimson, the leaves a dark, rain-soaked jade. She inhales, catching the scent of earth and wet stone drifting in. The air is charged with freshness, and a sense of renewal settles over her home. Everything is washed clean, ready for dreams yet to come. On the kitchen table, a loaf of bread cools on a wire rack. Its crust is golden and crisp, scattered with flakes of sea salt. The perfumer slices a thick wedge, the knife gliding through soft, fragrant crumb. She spreads a little homemade butter rich and silky, pale as cream across the warm slice. The scent of yeast and sweetness fills the room, mingling with the perfume of herbs and rain. With each bite, she tastes the work of her own hands, flour sifted at dawn, butter churned in the coolness of morning, the slow magic of rising dough. Each mouthful is a quiet celebration, an act of gratitude for abundance and simple pleasures. The distant bells sound once more, their song muffled by rain but no less clear. The perfumer thinks of the church on Main Street, its spire shining white against the summer sky. She remembers weddings and picnics, potlucks and fierce moments of community stitched together by shared laughter and gentle hands. Often, she leaves little parcels of her soap or perfume in the vestibule, each one tucked with a sprig of rosemary or a note wishing peace. She smiles at the memorial child's delight at a lavender sachet, an elderly neighbor's quiet thanks. In the soft hush of evening, these gentle exchanges fill her heart with warmth. On a nearby shelf, a stack of correspondence awaits her attention. The perfumer selects a letter, its envelope lined with pale blue and bearing a familiar hand. She opens it carefully, savoring the crispness of the paper, the faint scent of violets still clinging to the page. It is from her childhood friend, now living on the distant coast. The words describe sea breezes, wildflowers, and a new recipe for rose geranium soap. The perfumer reads slowly, imagination painting each scene, a cottage by the ocean, white curtains billowing, hands redolent of salt and petals. She smiles, warmed by the connection that bridges miles and years. Setting the letter aside, she selects a piece of pale, creamy stationery from her own supply. With a glass-dipped pen, she begins her reply, the ink flowing in soft blue loops. She writes of the rain, the garden's bounty, the newest batch of lemon verbena soap. Her words are gentle, filled with gratitude for the quiet rhythms of daily life. She slips a tiny pressed marigold between the folds, a token of midsummer's glow. Sealing the envelope with a dab of lavender wax, she feels a sense of completion, a circle closed, a friendship tended like the most delicate of flowers. As evening deepens, the perfumer lights a second candle, its flame a twin star beside the first. The kitchen glows gold and amber, shadows dancing softly across the walls. She sets a shallow dish of water on the table, floating petals atop its surface. Jasmine, calendula, and a single white rose drift gently, their colors luminous in the candlelight. The air is heavy with their scent, sweet, green, a whisper of wild things tamed for a moment's beauty. She feels the hush settle around her, a velvet cloak of comfort and solitude. In this quiet space, she has everything she needs, light, fragrance, and the gentle company of her own thoughts. The perfumer recalls a memory from childhood, her mother's hands, deft and sure, guiding her in the art of soap making. She remembers the cool touch of enamel basins, the slippery feel of fresh lye, the laughter as they measured and stirred. Those lessons were more than recipes, they were a legacy of care, a way of making the ordinary sacred. Now, when she mixes her oils and petals, she feels her mother's presence in every movement, in the steadiness of her hands, the patience in waiting for the right moment, the joy in creating beauty from simple things. These memories are stitched into every bar of soap, every vial of scent. The rain softens to a gentle mist, blurring the lines between garden and sky. The perfumer rises from her chair, shawl trailing behind her, and steps quietly onto the back porch. The boards are cool beneath her feet, slick with rain and scattered petals. She leans on the railing, breathing in the night air, alive with the scent of wet earth and blooming roses. Fireflies pulse in the shadow of the hedgerow, their light a silent chorus. She listens to the night's quiet music, the bells far off, the soft shiver of leaves, the distant laughter of neighbors returning home. Here, in the hush of summer, the world seems to pause, holding its breath in wonder. The perfumer's garden is a sanctuary of scents and textures, every leaf and bloom familiar as an old friend. She reaches down to trace the velvet leaves of sage, their coolness tingling against her fingertips. Along the path, time spills over the bricks, tiny blossoms scenting the air with hints of lemon and pine. She snips a sprig of mint, inhaling its bright, sharp fragrance before tucking it behind her ear. The wicker basket on her arm is half filled with treasures, sprigs of rosemary, a cluster of late strawberries, petals gathered for tomorrow's soap. Each plant, each blossom, is tended with gratitude, their gifts woven into her daily work. A gentle wind stirs, carrying the sound of distant laughter and music from a summer gathering in town. The perfumer smiles, imagining white dresses swirling beneath lanterns, the soft clink of glasses, the scent of night-blooming flowers. She is content in her solitude, the quiet hum of her own company a comfort. Occasionally, she welcomes a visitor, an old friend, a curious child, a neighbor seeking a remedy for sleeplessness. Her door is always open, a lamp burning in the window, a pot of tea waiting on the stove. In this place, hospitality is a language spoken with kindness and scent, each guest leaving with a little more peace than when they arrived. Returning to her kitchen, the perfumer sets her basket on the table. She plucks a few rose petals, their edges dewy and fragrant, and scatters them atop the dish of floating flowers. The petals drift lazily, their color deepening in the candlelight. She begins preparing a soothing herbal infusion for night, a blend of chamomile, lemon balm, and mint. The kettle sings a high, sweet note, steam curling like a ribbon into the air. She pours hot water over the herbs, watching as their greens and yellows unfurl and blend. The cup radiates gentle warmth, its surface fogging in the cool kitchen air. With tea in hand, the perfumer moves to the parlor, its walls lined with books and faded photographs. She selects a volume of poetry from the shelf, its cover warm with use. Settling into a deep armchair, she draws a crocheted throw across her lap, the yarn soft and comforting. She reads aloud in a low voice, the words spinning gentle wonders through the quiet room, verses about gardens and summer nights, about longing and belonging, about the slow unfolding of hope. The rhythm of poetry, the fragrance of tea, the soft glow of candlelight all combine to create a sanctuary within a sanctuary, a place of rest for heart and mind. A gentle tap at the window startles her, and she looks up to see a child from the neighborhood, little Elsie, with a halo of damp curls and a shy, hopeful smile. The perfumer rises to open the door, the hinges sighing quietly. She greets the child with a warm embrace, ushering her into the cozy glow. Elsie presents a posy of wildflowers, petals spattered with raindrops. The perfumer thanks her, offering a cup of warm milk sweetened with honey. They sit together at the kitchen table, the child's small fingers tracing shapes in the condensation on her glass. The perfumer listens to Elsie's gentle stories of kittens found in the barn, of wishes made on fireflies, and feels her heart open even wider to the world's quiet magic. Elsie's eyelids grow heavy, her voice slowing to a drowsy murmur. The perfumer fetches a soft, hand-stitched quilt, wrapping the child in its gentle embrace. She sings a lullaby, her voice a low, soothing human old tune about lavender fields and starlit skies. The child drifts into sleep, the rhythm of her breathing gentle and even. The perfumer smooths Elsie's hair, fingers light as petals, and leaves her to rest on the settee. She returns to her work table, heart full of tenderness. In these quiet moments, caring for a sleepy child, tending a friend's dreams, she finds her own deepest contentment, the peace that comes from gentleness shared. Outside, the rain has ceased, and the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming gardenias. The perfumer cracks the window, allowing the night breeze to refresh the room. In the quiet, she prepares a pouch of lavender and chamomile for Elsie to take home, an offering for peaceful dreams. She stitches the little bag closed with blue thread, her nimble fingers moving with practiced grace. The fabric is soft, patterned with tiny sprigs of thyme, and she tucks a small note inside, for gentle sleep and sweet awakenings. She places it beside the settee, a silent promise of care for the night ahead. The kitchen clock ticks gently, marking the slow passage of time. The perfumer tidies her work table, wiping away stray petals and crumbs of soap. She polishes the brass scales, the metal warm beneath her cloth, and arranges her oils and extracts in neat rows. Each bottle is a prism, catching the candlelight and throwing tiny rainbows across the table. Her movements are slow and meditative, an act of devotion, a way of honoring her tools and her craft. She hums a quiet tune, the sound barely more than a breath. In this small space, order and beauty go hand in hand, each moment a quiet prayer of gratitude. From the parlor, the gentle breathing of sleeping Elsie mingles with the hush of the night. The perfumer sets another log on the hearth, coaxing a low, steady flame to life. The scent of wood smoke blends with the lingering fragrance of roses and beeswax, wrapping the room in comfort. She settles into her own chair, feeling the warmth soak into her bones. Outside, the moon rises, its light spilling silver across the garden path. The world is quiet, save for the distant bells and the occasional chirp of a cricket. She closes her eyes, letting the peace of the moment wash over her like a gentle tide. The perfumer's thoughts drift to her own mother, long gone but present in every loving detail of her home. She remembers bedtime stories whispered in the half-light, the softness of her mother's shawl, the scent of soap and wild violets lingering in the air. These memories are a comfort, echoing through her own routines. She wonders, with a gentle ache, if the women who came before her also dreamed of peace and beauty, of quiet evenings filled with candlelight and song. She feels their presence in her hands, guiding her as she shapes each bar of soap, blending each drop of perfume. Their love is a thread, unbroken across generations. In this gentle twilight, the perfumer indulges in a small ritual of self-care. She fills a porcelain basin with warm water, adding a handful of rose petals and a splash of lavender oil. The scent rises, enveloping her in a fragrant cloud. She soaks a linen cloth in the water, wringing it gently before pressing it to her face. The heat and scent are soothing, melting away the day's cares. She massages her hands with a dab of calendula salve, feeling the softness return to skin worn by work. These moments alone are precious, a reminder to tend, with equal devotion, the garden of her own heart. The perfumer dons a fresh apron, its linen cool and crisp against her skin. She gathers ingredients for tomorrow's so-apa new experiment with lemon zest and honey. She zests the bright yellow fruit, the scent sharp and clean, mingling with the golden sweetness of local honey. She measures the lye with careful precision, her hand steady and sure. The process is both science and art, a dance of timing and intuition. As she stirs oil and lye together, the mixture thickens, transforming beneath her wooden spoon. She pours the batter into molds lined with waxed paper, smoothing the top with a gentle swirl. The future bars of soap rest, waiting for morning. A gentle breeze rustles the curtains, filling the kitchen with the scent of garden herbs. The perfumer glances out at the night, the stars beginning to emerge, scattered across a canvas of deep blue. She feels the steady pulse of the world, the slow turning of seasons, the quiet miracles of growth and renewal. Each day brings its own small wonders, a new blossom, a letter from afar, the comforting repetition of chores well done. In these rhythms, she finds her anchor, a sense of belonging to something timeless. The bells in the distance chime again, their song a steadying heartbeat in the hush of night. She steps into the parlor, where Elsie still sleeps, curled like a kitten on the settee. The child's breath is even, her cheeks flushed with dreams. The perfumer whispers a blessing, may her dreams be sweet, her heart always gentle. She tends the fire, adding a handful of dried lavender to the embers. The scent rises, smoky and floral, weaving a spell of calm. She sits for a while in silence, hands folded in her lap, watching the shadows shift on the walls. The quiet is deep and restful, a balm for spirit and body alike. In this room, there is only peace. A soft knock at the back door startles her, though the sound is gentle, almost diffident. She opens it to find her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Harper, standing on the porch, a basket of ripe peaches in her arms. The perfumer welcomes her in, seating her by the fire. They share a slice of fresh bread, spreading it with peach preserves and butter. The taste is bright and summery, the peach's sweetness tinged with sunlight. Mrs. Harper's stories tumble forth, tales of gardens past, of childhood games in the orchard, of recipes learned from mothers and grandmothers. Their conversation is soft and meandering, stitched together with laughter and long, comfortable silences. Mrs. Harper samples a bar of the new lemon honey soap, her eyes lighting up at the scent. She reminisces about her own mother's kitchen, filled with the fragrance of citrus and cinnamon. The perfumer listens, her heart warmed by the sharing of memory and tradition. She offers Mrs. Harper a vial of rosewater, pressing it gently into her friend's hand. In return, Mrs. Harper gifts her a recipe for peach and thyme jam, written in careful script on a slip of blue paper. These exchanges, a soap for a story, a scent for a recipe, are the currency of their friendship, each act a small blessing. As Mrs. Harper departs into the night, the perfumer lingers on the porch, feeling the lingering warmth of shared company. The air is cool and fragrant, touched by the scent of peach and lavender. The sky above is a deep indigo, stars scattered like seeds across fertile darkness. She cradles the recipe in her hands, imagining the jars of jam she will make, the taste of thyme and summer peaches stored for winter days. She sends a silent prayer of thanks to the women who came before, whose recipes and wisdom shape her days. In this gentle circle of giving and receiving, she finds her place in the world. The perfumer returns to her kitchen, lighting another candle to brighten the deepening night. She sets out her supplies for the jam, peaches sliced and glistening, thyme sprigs freshly plucked, sugar piled in a porcelain dish. She works in quiet harmony, hands moving with practiced ease. The scent of simmering fruit fills the air, sweet and heady, mingling with the green tang of herbs. She stirs the pot, watching the mixture thicken and shine. Each small bubble is a promise, a taste of summer preserved for the cold days ahead. She fills jar after jar, sealing each with wax and a ribbon of checked cloth. The perfumer labels each jar in her careful hand, peach and thyme, summer 1957. She lines them up on the shelf, where sunlight will catch their golden glow in the morning. The kitchen is warm, fragrant, and full of quiet accomplishment. She wipes her hands on her apron, feeling the starch and softness of the linen. Each task tonight has been a meditation, each moment a thread in the fabric of her contentment. She pours herself a final cup of tea, this one blended with rose petals and orange peel, and sits by the window to watch the moon rise higher, its silver light spilling over the sleeping town. The bells ring once more, their melody slow and tender in the midnight hush. The perfumer feels her heart slow to match their rhythm, her breath deepening as she surrenders to the night. She gathers her shawl around her, the wool soft and faintly scented with lavender. The world outside is quiet, the only movement the gentle flicker of moths at the glass. In this deep stillness, she feels the presence of something vast and kind, a sense of belonging that stretches far beyond her cottage walls. She closes her eyes, letting the peace of midsummer twilight settle into her bones, welcoming sleep's gentle approach. A faint breeze stirs the curtains, cool and clean. The perfumer rises to check on Elsie, who still slumbers, her tiny form curled beneath the patchwork quilt. She smooths the child's hair, brushing an unruly curl from her forehead. The room is thick with the scent of lavender and beeswax, a cocoon of warmth and comfort. On the windowsill, the glass jar of wildflowers glows softly in the moonlight. The perfumer sits quietly for a moment, listening to the sounds of the house timbers settling, the faint hum of the radio left on low, the soft exhale of the sleeping child. These are the sounds of safety, of home. As midnight approaches, the perfumer gathers a few last tasks before rest. She tidies the kitchen, stacking plates, wiping surfaces, folding tea towels whose edges are embroidered with daisies. The fabric is soft from many washings, the stitches neat and bright. Each towel holds a memory, an afternoon spent with a friend, a lesson learned at her grandmother's knee. She sets a fresh bowl of water on the windowsill for the night, floating a sprig of mint atop its surface. The room feels ready for another day, every corner tended and loved. She dims the lights, leaving only the soft glow of candles and the moon's silvery touch. She takes a moment to step outside, barefoot on the cool stone path that winds through the garden. The night air is gentle, the grass damp and cool beneath her feet. She stands still, breathing deeply, surrounded by the hush of sleeping flowers. The lavender and rosemary are dark and fragrant, their perfume rising in the moist air. Above, the sky is velvet, the stars sharp and bright. The bells ring out one last time, their sound clear and sweet across the fields. She lets the melody fill her, a lullaby sung by the world itself. She feels utterly at home, held in the gentle arms of midsummer. Turning back to the house, the perfumer notices the glimmer of dew on the garden's petals, tiny jewels sparkling in the moonlight. She pauses to touch a rose, its bloom heavy and fragrant, petals cool against her skin. The cat slips out of the shadows, twining around her ankles, purring a sleepy greeting. She scoops it up, feeling the warmth of its body, the steady thrum of its contentment. Together, they walk inside, the door closing softly behind them. The house is quiet, the candlelight golden and reassuring. The perfumer moves slowly through the rooms, her body and mind readying for rest. She climbs the narrow stairs to her bedroom, the cat trotting ahead, tail high. The stairs creak in a friendly, familiar way, a song of welcome at day's end. The bedroom is simple and serene, whitewashed walls, a quilted bed, a wooden dresser with a sprig of rosemary in a glass. She slips out of her apron, folding it carefully and laying it atop the chair. She changes into a soft cotton nightgown, the fabric cool and smooth against her skin. She brushes her hair, each stroke slow and meditative, and dabs a little rosewater on her wrists. The scent is comforting, a gentle bridge to dreams. The perfumer turns down the bed, smoothing the crisp linen sheets. She fluffs the pillows, their cases embroidered with tiny violets. The cat leaps onto the covers, needing a spot before curling into a ball. She opens the window a crack, letting in the cool night breeze. The sounds of the garden drift up: crickets, the rustle of leaves, the distant bells. She sits on the edge of the bed, hands folded in her lap, and gazes out into the moonlit world. She reflects on the day's gentle labors, the small joys and quiet blessings. The house feels safe, as if it breathes in time with her own slow heartbeat. Before sleep, she returns to her ritual of gratitude. She lights a final beeswax candle, its flame soft and steady. She takes her journal from the nightstand, its pages thick and smooth. By candlelight, she writes a few lines, thanks for rain, for shared laughter, for the scent of lavender and the warmth of bread. Her handwriting is slow and even, each word a pebble laid in the path of her memory. She closes the journal, ties it with a ribbon, and sets it aside. She sits quietly, candle in hand, watching the shadows play on the walls, feeling her thoughts drift and slow. She settles under the quilt, the fabric cool and weighty, stitched with care in rosy and sky blue patchwork. The cat purrs beside her, a little furnace of comfort. The perfumer listens to the sounds of sleep, the house's gentle sighs, the rhythmic breathing of child and animal, the faint chime of distant bells. She lets her thoughts float, untethered, across the fields and gardens of her mind. She remembers wildflowers in sunlit meadows, the laughter of old friends, the first time she made a perfect bar of soap. Each memory is a petal, soft and fragrant, settling gently on her spirit. A light rain begins again, soft as sighs, tapping on the roof and windows. The sound is a lullaby, soothing and rhythmic, a gentle hush over the world. The perfumer nestles deeper into the covers, feeling the warmth spread from her toes to fingertips. She breathes in the scent of linen, beeswax, and the faintest trace of rosewater. Above her, the ceiling is dappled with shadows, candlelight flickering softly. She feels her body relax, each muscle loosening, her mind slowing, thoughts drifting towards the edge of sleep. The bells ring out, distant and sweet, marking the hour in a world wrapped safe in summer's arms. A hush falls, deeper than before, as if the world itself is holding its breath. The perfumer surrenders to the night, her thoughts no longer busy, her heart at rest. The rain, the bells, the steady purr of the cat all weave together into a lullaby for the soul. In this quiet place, there is only peace, the soft embrace of bedding, the coolness of the night air, the gentle promise of dreams. She lets go of the day, its joys and labors, trusting that tomorrow will bring more of the same quiet abundance. The candle flickers, casting long, slow shadows. Sleep drifts nearer, a gentle tide. As midnight slips into the first small hours, the perfumer's dreams begin to stir. She floats in a world of gardens and sunlight, of drifting petals and warm, fragrant kitchens. Even in sleep, her senses are alive to beauty, the coolness of linen, the taste of wild honey, the scent of lemon and thyme. The bells ring once more, their sound muffled and distant, like a memory gently recalled. In this deep rest, her spirit finds renewal, her heart a garden watered by peace. The rain slows, fading to a whisper, and the house settles more deeply into stillness. Each breath is a promise of gentle tomorrows. Downstairs, the candles gutter and fade, their flames easing into darkness. The kitchen, once alive with fragrance and light, is hushed and shadowed. The scent of soap and herbs lingers, clinging to the air like a blessing. In the parlor, Elsie stirs but does not wake, her small form safe and warm beneath the quilt. The night deepens, velvet and endless. The garden, too, sleeps, petals closed, leaves heavy with dew. The world outside is wrapped in silver mist and birdsong yet to come. All is safe, all is quiet, every corner of the house breathing slowly in time with the sleeping hearts within. In the perfumer's dreams, she walks the garden paths at dawn, dew sparkling on every blade of grass. The sun is just rising, painting the world in gold and rose. She gathers baskets of petals and herbs, the scents rising bright and fresh. She feels the coolness of stone beneath her feet, the silken brush of leaves against her arms. The dream is soft and sunlit, filled with friendly faces and shared laughter. The distant bells ring out, their song a greeting to the new day. Even in slumber, she is tending, caring, bringing comfort and fragrance to the world around her. The night draws on, slow and serene. Upstairs, the perfumer and her cat sleep soundly, their breathing a gentle duet. Downstairs, the embers in the hearth glow faintly, sending up the last wisps of lavender-scented smoke. The kitchen clock ticks, marking the hours with soft, steady patience. Outside, the rain has ceased, leaving the world hushed and gleaming. The garden holds its breath, every leaf and blossom stilled by the magic of night. The perfumer dreams of walled gardens and golden afternoons, of hands joined in laughter and work. In her sleep, she is safe, cherished, and whole. A gentle breeze stirs the curtains, carrying the scent of jasmine and damp earth into the perfumer's dreams. She imagines herself beneath the arbor, fireflies weaving patterns in the dusk. The air is thick with fragrance, each breath a balm to her spirit. She hears the sound of laughter, her mother, her friends, even her own voice, bright and clear. The bells toll once more, their sound low and sweet, a benediction over the sleeping house. The cat stirs, stretching languidly, then settles more deeply beside her. All is well, every heart held gently in the arms of the quiet night. The world outside the cottage is painted in moonlight. The roof glistens with rain, the garden paths are slick and shining. The distant spire of the church catches a silvery glow, its bells silent for now. The perfumer lies still, her dreams deep and undisturbed. The cat sleeps on, a warm, contented presence. Inside the cottage, night reigns a realm of softness, of gentle shadows, of dreams spun from lavender and beeswax. Every corner is touched by calm, every window framed in the quiet music of crickets and far-off bells. This is the heart of midsummer, a time for rest and renewal. Somewhere in her dreams, the perfumer receives a let-terra pale blue envelope, sealed with rose wax. Inside, the words are gentle, full of gratitude and hope. She reads slowly, savoring each phrase, feeling the warmth of old friendships and the promise of future joys. The scent of violets rises from the page, mingling with the perfume of the night garden. The bells ring out, their sound a bridge between worlds, between waking and dreaming, between present and past. The perfumer smiles in her sleep, heart full of love and peace. Even in dreams, she is never alone, always surrounded by kindness. The night deepens further, silence falling soft as velvet. The perfumer drifts between sleep and waking, her mind a garden of memories and gentle hopes. She dreams of new recipes, of laughter in the kitchen, of hands warm with soap and sunlight. The bells toll one last time, their echo lingering in the hush. She feels the presence of loved ones near and far, their spirits woven into the fabric of her life. The cat nestles closer, a weight of comfort against her side. All around, the world is silent and safe, a cradle of midsummer peace. Sleep claims her, gentle and complete. The hours pass, slow and dream-filled. The perfumer floats in a world of scent and color, rose, lemon, thyme, the shimmer of candlelight on glass. Time seems to pause, the boundaries between day and night blurred by the hush of deep rest. Downstairs, the first hint of dawn begins to glow at the edges of the world, painting the kitchen in pearl and silver. The bells are silent, the world waiting for the day's first breath. In her bed, the perfumer lies still, her dreams rich and sweet, her heart at ease. This is the gentle gift of sleep, a garden where all is well. A gentle lull settles over the cottage, a hush deeper than silence, woven with the memory of bells and summer rain. The perfumer sleeps on, her breath slow and even, dreams drifting like clouds across a blue sky. The night holds her safe, every sound a lullaby, the whisper of wind, the purr of the cat, the faint rustle of linen sheets. Outside, the garden waits, petals bowed in rest, leaves heavy with dew. The world is at peace, the slow, contemplative rhythms of daily life echoing even in sleep. She is cradled by comfort, every worry eased by the balm of gentle darkness. The scent of lavender and beeswax lingers in the air, a subtle reminder of the day's gentle labors. The perfumer is deep in slumber, her mind wandering through fields of wildflowers and rows of ripening herbs. The bells, now silent, have left a melody in the air, a song of peace and belonging. The cat shifts, stretching and curling closer, purring a soft lullaby. The rain has faded to a memory, leaving behind a freshness that seeps into dreams. Upstairs and down, the cottage is a sanctuary, every corner holding the promise of comfort and rest. Sleep is a gentle tide, carrying all towards morning's light. Hours pass unnoticed, time unspooling in soft, even threads. The perfumer's dreams are gentle and bright. She drifts through meadows, gathers fruit from sunlit trees, laughs with friends beneath the arbor. The world is an endless summer, fragrant and golden. The cat's breathing is steady, a metronome of peace. Outside, the garden stands sentinel, blooms closed, leaves glistening with dew. The bells have hushed, but their echo lingers, a promise of safety. In this midsummer night, the perfumer is wholly at ease, her heart untroubled. Each breath draws her deeper into rest, each moment a gift of quiet abundance. The cottage settles, timbers creaking gently in the cool night air. The perfumer sleeps on, her dreams vivid scents of rose and lemon, hands kneading dough, laughter bubbling in the kitchen. The cat stretches, a soft sigh escaping as it resettles. The air is heavy with calm, every sound softened by the hush of night. The world beyond the windows is blurred and still, moonlight painting the garden in silver and pearl. The bells are silent now, their lullaby woven into the tapestry of dreams. Here, in this peaceful home, nothing is needed except rest and the gentle promise of dawn. In the heart of the night, the perfumer dreams of a picnic in the meadow, blankets spread on cool grass, baskets filled with bread and peaches, jars of lemon balm tea. Friends gather, laughter mingling with birdsong and the distant chime of bells. The sun is warm, the shade soft, the world awash in gold and green. Even in dreams, her hands are busy arranging flowers, pouring tea, breaking bread for those she loves. The sense of belonging is deep, a wellspring of comfort. Sleep wraps her more closely, each breath a lullaby, each heartbeat a gentle promise of more peaceful days to come. The night deepens, the world outside is utterly still. The perfumer lies cocooned in her quilt, the cat pressed close, the air cool and fragrant. Her dreams shift. She walks the garden at dusk, gathering petals for tomorrow's soap, her fingers brushing velvet leaves. The bells ring out, faint and far away, their sound a thread tying dream to memory. She smiles in her sleep, the sense of home and love anchoring her spirit. The house is safe, the world gentle, every moment a reflection of care. The cottage breathes in time with her, every room filled with the hush of peace. A hush falls deeper still, as if the world is holding its breath for the coming dawn. The perfumer's dreams slow, becoming softer, more diffuse, faces and gardens, laughter and scent, all blending in a gentle haze. The cat sighs, its tail flicking in sleep. The air is cool, the quilt warm, the pillow soft beneath her cheek. The bells have faded, replaced by the slow heartbeat of the house itself. Upstairs and down, all is stillness, each shadow gentle and familiar. The cottage is a cradle, rocking its inhabitants through the last hours of night, towards the safe harbor of morning. The garden outside glimmers with dew, every blade of grass tipped with silver. The moon is low, the sky a deep, endless blue. The perfumer dreams of walled gardens, of hands weaving crowns of daisies, of sunlight spilling across linen and stone. The bells are silent, their memory a blessing. The cat shifts, pressing closer, purring softly in the hush. The world is small and safe, the boundaries of cottage and garden, bed and quilt, the gentle circle of love and care. Sleep deepens, thoughts drifting like petals on a quiet pond. The night is endless, the peace profound. A gentle, almost imperceptible light begins to creep into the eastern sky. The world stirs, but the cottage remains wrapped in sleep. The perfumer's dreams are slow and soft. She floats through kitchens fragrant with bread and citrus, gardens lush with summer blooms. The bells are a memory, their song woven into the hush. The cat yawns, curls tighter, and slips deeper into dreams. The air is cool and clean, the bedding heavy and comforting. Every worry is gone, every care dissolved in the balm of night. The promise of morning hovers, gentle and unhurried, on the threshold of the new day. Stillness reigns, the hush deep and all-encompassing. The perfumer sleeps on, her breath slow, her dreams a gentle tapestry of light and scent. The cat is quiet, its small, warm body pressed close. The bells are long silent, replaced by the first faint chirr of waking birds. The world outside is misty, blurred at the edges, the garden a patchwork of pale green and pearl. The cottage holds its breath, waiting for the light to grow. The perfumer is adrift in comfort, held safe by home and memory. Sleep is a deep river, carrying her gently onward, every moment a benediction. A lull settles, thick and soothing, as the night deepens towards its end. The perfumer's dreams slow, becoming a gentle wash of color and sensation. Rose and honey, linen and wood, the memory of bells. The cat is utterly relaxed, its breathing barely more than a whisper. The world outside is peaceful, every garden path and window silenced by the hush of dawn. The first light brushes the horizon, pink and pale, but the cottage remains a sanctuary of sleep. All is calm, all is comfort, every heartbeat sinks to the soft, slow rhythm of night. The perfumer is at rest, her soul at ease. The air inside the cottage is heavy with the scent of spent candles and night-blooming jasmine. The perfumer's breathing is slow and even, her face serene in the dim light. The cat stirs, then settles again, a living weight of reassurance. The bells are a memory, their echo winding through dreams. The world outside is hushed, the garden still, every leaf and petal holding the last of night's dew. The clock ticks gently, marking the passing hours with kindness. Sleep is deep, undisturbed, the cottage a cradle rocking slowly towards the dawn. All is safe, all is well. No sound breaks the hush but the faintest chirp of a waking bird and the soft exhale of the perfumer's breath. The night is a velvet blanket wrapped tight around the cottage and its peaceful inhabitants. The perfumer dreams of summer fields, of arms full of wildflowers, of soft laughter drifting on midsummer air. The bells are silent, their song woven into the fabric of sleep. The cat shifts, sighs, and settles into deeper rest. The world outside is blurred, the promise of morning still distant. The house is a sanctuary, every corner filled with safety and warmth. The perfumer's thoughts are slow, unhurried, a gentle tide of memory and hope. She drifts through dreams of sunlight and rain, of hands stirring honey into tea, of laughter echoing through the kitchen. The bells are a distant memory, their music a golden thread in the tapestry of her sleep. The cat purrs, a low vibration in the hush. The world outside is pale and new, the garden waiting for dawn. The cottage holds its breath, the hush deeper than silence. Sleep wraps the perfumer snugly, her soul at peace, her heart sheltered by the quiet rhythms of home and love. The final hour of night draws close. The perfumer's dreams are repetitive and soothing. She walks the same garden path again and again, gathering petals, feeling the cool stone underfoot, hearing the faint chime of distant bells. The cat, her constant companion, is always by her side. The scent of lavender and beeswax is ever present, a balm for heart and mind. The world is simple, reduced to the essentials of comfort, soft linen, warm quilts, gentle hands. Sleep is deep, the night endless, every moment a gentle lull. The cottage is a haven, every shadow friendly, every sound a whisper of peace. A deeper hush settles, the stillness profound. The perfumer is cocooned in safety, her dreams gentle and circular, looping through scenes of home and garden, scent and light. The cat breathes softly, its warmth a steady comfort. The cottage is silent, save for the occasional creak of timbers and the faint murmur of wind. The world outside is pale with the first hint of dawn, but the cottage remains in the embrace of night. The bells are silent, the memories of their music a comfort. Every breath is slow, every thought gentle, each heartbeat a lullaby for the soul. The perfumer's dreams slow further, scenes repeating with gentle variation, hands mixing soap, petals falling into warm water, the sound of laughter and bells. The cat purrs, an anchor in the hush. The air is cool, the bedding heavy and snug, the scent of linen and rosewater a gentle embrace. The world outside is unchanged, the garden still, the sky deep blue. The cottage is a sanctuary, holding its inhabitants safe in the last hours of night. Sleep is a deep river, carrying the perfumer ever closer to morning, every moment a gift of quiet, restorative peace. A gentle rhythm takes hold, breath in, breath out, the slow beat of a heart at rest. The perfumer lies still, her body and mind surrendering to the hush. The cat shifts, its warmth pressing closer. The bells are silent, their memory a soft echo in the quiet. The world outside is waiting, dawn paused at the threshold, unwilling to disturb the peace within. The cottage is wrapped in comfort, every shadow a friend, every sound a lullaby. Sleep is deep and unbroken, every moment a gentle descent into rest. The night holds the perfumer safe, her dreams undisturbed. The final hour is slow and repetitive, each moment folding gently into the next. The perfumer's dreams are a sequence of familiar scenes, hands tying bundles of herbs, light flickering on glass bottles, petals falling into warm water. The cat is a constant presence, its purr a steady thread in the hush. The world outside is pale and chilly, the garden sleeping still. The memories of bells and laughter linger, woven into the fabric of the night. The cottage is a haven, every corner steeped in calm. Sleep deepens, the final barriers between dream and waking softening, dissolving in the gentle hush. The perfumer's breath is slow and even, the rhythm of sleep deep and undisturbed. She dreams of the same gentle moments, over and over, the scent of lavender, the feel of linen, the soft glow of candlelight. The cat presses close, its warmth a steady comfort. The world outside is silent, the first light of dawn still a whisper on the horizon. The bells are a memory, their music a gentle blessing. The cottage is peaceful, every room holding the echo of the day's kindness. Sleep lulls the perfumer deeper, each heartbeat a gentle invitation to rest. A slow, gentle repetition settles in. The perfumer breathes, dreams, relaxes, and drifts. The cat purrs quietly, the sound a soft vibration low in the night. The cottage is utterly still, the world outside held in the last embrace of night. The scent of beeswax, lavender, and linen fills the air, mingling with the faint memory of distant bells. The perfumer's dreams circle gently, comforting and familiar hands tending a garden, laughter echoing in sunlit rooms, the slow rhythm of peaceful routine. Sleep is a deep ocean, rocking her towards the shore of morning. All is well, all is safe. The final minutes of night pass, slow and lulling. The perfumer dreams the same gentle scenes, the kitchen bathed in candlelight, the garden fragrant with dew, the bells far off, their sound soft and sweet. The cat is a warm, steady weight beside her. The cottage is a cradle, rocking gently in the hush. The world outside is untouched, the garden dark and restful, the sky pale with the promise of dawn. Sleep is deep, the mind quiet, the heart at peace. Every moment is a gentle repetition, a soft invitation to let go and drift further into rest. Sleep is all-encompassing, a cocoon of linen and lavender, beeswax, and soft breathing. The perfumer's dreams repeat. She walks the garden path, gathers petals, feels the cool stone, hears the distant bells. The cat remains close, the world outside is unchanged, the hush deep and soothing. The night is almost over, but within the cottage, time is suspended, each moment gentle and slow. The perfumer is at peace, her mind and body surrendered utterly to rest. The final notes of distant bells linger, their memory woven into the hush. All is still, all is safe, the promise of dawn waiting patiently. The repetition deepens, each moment folding softly into the next. The perfumer sleeps, dreams drifting through sunlit rooms and fragrant gardens, the same gentle scenes looping endlessly. The cat purrs, a steady undercurrent in the hush. The world outside is silent, the garden dark and peaceful, the bells a memory. The cottage holds its inhabitants safe, every room a sanctuary of calm. Sleep is a gentle river, carrying the perfumer ever deeper into rest. The final minutes of night are slow, the air thick with comfort and peace. The heart is quiet, the mind settled, every breath an invitation to sleep. A gentle lull pervades, the repetition soothing and complete. The perfumer's dreams circle softly, hands tying herbs, petals drifting, candlelight flickering. The cat sleeps close, the world outside unmoving. The bells have faded, the memory of their music a blessing on the night. The cottage is wrapped in calm, every detail familiar and loved. Sleep is deep, unbroken, each minute slower than the last. The perfumer is safe, her heart at ease, her spirit cocooned in rest. The promise of dawn is distant, every moment an extension of peace. The night holds her gently, inviting deeper surrender. Stillness reigns, the world within the cottage unchanging. The perfumer's breaths are slow, each one a gentle sigh. Her dreams repeat, gardens, kitchens, laughter, bells. The cat is a warm presence, the only movement the slow rise and fall of its sides. The outside world is quiet, the garden veiled in darkness, the bells silent. The cottage is a cradle, rocking all who dwell within towards the deepest rest. Sleep is profound, the repetition comforting, each moment a gentle reassurance. All is well, all is safe, the heart, the house, the night itself. The perfumer is held in endless calm. The rhythm of the night is slow and hypnotic, breath, dream, rest, repeat. The perfumer is still, her dreams looping gently, lavender fields, hands kneading bread, laughter drifting on midsummer air. The cat is silent, perfectly at peace. The cottage is unchanged, a sanctuary in the hush. The world outside is silent, the bells a memory, the garden waiting for morning. Sleep is a deep, endless tide, carrying the perfumer farther into rest. Each minute is slower than the last, the heart beating quiet and slow. The final promise of dawn remains distant, every moment a soft, gentle lull. The last minutes of night are slow and soothing, every detail familiar and safe. The perfumer sleeps, dreams circling gentler petals, candles, distant bells. The cat breathes quietly, the world outside still. The cottage is a haven, every corner filled with comfort. Sleep is deep, the repetition settling the mind and spirit, every moment a gentle descent. The night holds the perfumer softly, rocking her toward the final moments of rest. The hush is complete, the peace unbroken. The heart is quiet, the mind is still, every sense wrapped in the gentle balm of night. A hush deeper than silence fills the cottage, sleep holding all within its gentle arms. The perfumer's dreams are soft and repetitive, her hands in the garden, the scent of lavender and beeswax, the faint echo of far-off bells. The cat sleeps close, the world outside unchanged, the night thick with calm. The final moments before dawn are slow, each minute stretching long and comforting. The cottage is a safe harbor, every shadow known and friendly. Sleep is deep, the heart at ease, every thought softened by the hush. The night is endless, peace complete. The repetition is now a gentle tide, each moment folding softly into the next. The perfumer is at rest, her dreams looping through sweet and familiar scenes, hands tending a garden, laughter echoing through sunlit halls, the slow, steady chime of distant bells. The cat is a warm, silent presence. The world outside is pale and quiet, the garden waiting for the first touch of dawn. The cottage is a sanctuary, every space holding the promise of safety. Sleep is deep, unbroken, every breath a gentle lullaby. The night cradles the perfumer, holding her in perfect peace. The candle flickers low, shadows lengthening and softening on the bedroom walls. The perfumer lies still, her breathing deep and even, dreams gentle and unbroken. The cat sleeps close, its warmth a final comfort. The world outside is silent, the bells a memory, the garden waiting in the pale hush before dawn. The cottage is utterly peaceful, every room filled with the slow rhythm of sleep. Time moves slowly, each moment an invitation to deeper rest. The night holds the perfumer safe, her heart quiet, her spirit at ease. All is well. All is calm. Sleep, gentle and complete, enfolds all. And so, dear friend, our gentle journey comes to a close. Thank you so very much for spending this peaceful evening with us. We hope this story has brought you comfort, warmth, and the sweetest rest. Until next time, sleep well, and know that another cozy tale awaits you soon. Good night.